guys, welcome to another exciting episode of Service Hour here on the Ombudsman Radio. Service Hour is a program where we take a dive into service providers in the country, agencies, parastatals, and take a standpoint from the consumer's point of view to see if we're actually getting optimal value. My name is Mati Fati and I have with me
Jem. Hi everyone.
Hi guys. Jem is, a usual face on the show, and I'm always super excited to have you do this with me.
As
Thank
I
you.
am. Yes.
Yeah. So in this episode, we'll be taking a look at the Nigerian educational system, and Jem would, start us off with telling us about the evolution of the Nigerian educational system, the major reforms and structuring that have occurred over the years.
Okay. So basically, before colonial times,
As
what we
usual.
had, yes, was the informal educational system.
Yeah.
I'm sure you're very familiar with it. It's just there was no formal structure. It was just our grandparents or elder statements in the community teaching the younger ones, instilling cultural values, tradition, passing on histories, and informal skills like survival skills. We had farming, fishing, pottery, and the likes. So
Yeah.
basically, that was the system of education that we had pre-colonial times. And then somewhere around the 11th century came Islam, and then some persons were being taught, especially in the northern part of the country, the Islamic education. And then came the colonial period. We had the Christian missionaries, right? And
Yeah.
then I think that was our first contact with formal education, so to speak. So we tailored the Western educational system. So everything was that way up until independence. And then there was the need to, now we are free from the colonial masters. We need to switch this to suit us to a large extent. Shortly after, around 1980s, we had the introduction of the universal primary education.
Okay, that's the UPE.
Yes.
Okay.
It was established basically to enhance and to encourage primary school education for young children in Nigeria. Make it free, cost-free, make it accessible.
Yeah.
But somehow it suffered some backlashes, misappropriation of funds, lack of transparency, corruption, and the likes. And then we didn't really actually get the main purpose that the whole
That it was meant to serve.
Exactly. So then we had another restructuring where we had the 6-3-3-4 system. So that's 6 years primary school, 3 years junior secondary school, 3 years senior secondary school, and 4-year tertiary institution.
Yeah.
Basically, that was it. And then around at a later time, 1999, we had UBE, that's Universal Basic Education. So this time around, it was an updated form of the UPE. So it covers not just the primary school this time around, but secondary school. Exactly. So it tries to give access and equity to everyone to make sure education is accessible to all, irrespective of the region.
Yeah.
So we've had these reforms and these changes also we can improve upon the quality of education in the Nigerian system.
Yeah.
So basically that's it.
That's a really beautiful one. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
The next question I would want to ask is, what are the major challenges that the Nigerian educational system have encountered over this year? What are the major ones?
Major ones, I will just start with funding. We basically, I am a teacher. So
Yeah. You can relate.
Yes. So when I'm not just saying it as a service provider analyst now. I'm saying it from based off experience.
Yeah.
Funding. The educational system in Nigeria needs funding. Funds is basically the major problem. Funds to provide proper infrastructures, to ensure that teachers are well paid, to ensure that the environment is conducive for learning, to ensure that the children are provided with the basic tools. Now, not just educational tools, mentally, what psychologically, the environment,
Yeah. If it's not in place, their minds will not even be
so
ready
we
to
need
learn.
funds. So why these other areas are lacking? Basically, funds, the availability of funds will ensure that all these other areas are properly furnished, and enhanced.
Yeah.
So one of the major problems we lack is funding.
One of the major. Give us another major
Another one is the retraining of teachers. I feel like we need to rework on our structure, academic structure, basically. Like, I don't know if I will be too harsh if I say that some curriculums are so backdated.
Backward,
Yes,
yeah.
we need to, like, I'm sure that the educational boards at different levels try as much as possible to sit down and restructure, review, to update it. But I
Yeah.
think there's still room for more. And then we should look into, retraining of the teachers. Like, let's have a situation where you send these people to certain countries, go and learn how these people teach, how the classroom. There's this what we call the 21st century teacher. Are the teachers in our classrooms, both primary, secondary, and tertiary, are they 21st century teachers, or we still have those our
The carry books like this.
Across all? But I know this is obtainable in certain private institutions, right?
Yeah.
Because they have what most government schools don't have.
Yeah.
Funding. Yes, that's why. And basically their fees are usually very exorbitant. That is why, in comparison with government fees.
Yeah.
So what they do most times, from my knowledge, is that they send their teachers for training. So we need to inculcate that into the Nigerian government, into the Nigerian government institution as well.
Yeah. So thank you so much, Jem. Something you said that struck a nerve when you spoke about revision of school curriculum. A time when I was in school, God bless my lecturer. So we were going to have this course. I think it was an ICT course or something. Then he was like, this curriculum is too backward. I don't think you guys would even enjoy the class. He took it upon himself to make up another curriculum that will make the class more engaging. So sometimes when your curriculum are outdated, students will not be able to follow because the world has changed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The world is constantly changing.
Yeah.
Changing. So you need to, like, keep up.
That's true. Thank you. Thank you so much, Jem. So what are the roles of, welfare and teacher retraining? What does it have to do with the decline that we have today?
I was just talking about retraining teachers,
Yeah.
right, and how it is to, it can help bridge certain gaps. Welfareism for teachers are very important. Like, teachers are essential workers in the system, right? Because you're trusting this set of persons to educate your young generation. And you didn't just say the children are the futures of
Very true.
leaders of tomorrow. So you are entrusting these persons to teach, to educate the leaders of tomorrow. So you need to take into consideration their welfare.
Yeah.
Are these people properly catered for? What is their remuneration like? What is their take home? Is their take home actually taking them home, or is leaving them at certain bus stop?
What? Yeah.
But how many times have we seen that ASU is going on strike because of this and that, and most times it borders on welfareism, really. So it shouldn't be something that we are negotiating about. It shouldn't be something that we are haggling over. No. When it comes to essential workers, teachers, doctors, nurses, these people should be our top priorities. Yes. They occupy. I'm not saying this is not to downplay the essence or the value of other workers, other professionals. No, I'm just saying.
We need them. It's obvious.
Those people are kind of different, so we need to pay special attention to them. And then retraining the teachers is very important. I had the opportunity of working in a private institution, and then there was a day the management came and said, I'm going to be having a course, emotional intelligence. That was the first time I was coming across such word. But with that training, I was able to understand that, you could have different type of students. Some students who are hyper attentive, and that training gave me the opportunity to be able to assess and relate with them, thereby enhancing my performance as a teacher. So me now being at an optimal performance level now helps me to impact knowledge effectively to the child. So retraining the teacher on different concepts and ideas constantly helps to develop effective performance. And what you see is that the education on a large scale, you start seeing improvement.
Yes.
You start seeing improvement.
Even in the children,
Exactly.
they become sound.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then the quality you are producing is sound. It's it's one that can combat anything anywhere. It's one that you can hold up anywhere, anytime, any day.
Very true. Thank you so much, Jem. So, Jem, could you tell us how poor infrastructure contributes to poor learning outcome overall?
Yes, poor infrastructure can affect the concentration of a child and then of students basically, and then this can result into low learning outcome. How I'll explain. So, for instance, you have a poorly furnished classroom setting.
Yeah.
If the windows are not in dilapidated forms, the lighting is poor, there's one thing, the seating arrangement is nothing to write home about. This will just distract
The student.
And some students need to be in a very well organized, well put together place for them to be able to comprehend and understand what is being taught or what they are receiving, the information they are receiving. But when their things are not properly and the infrastructures are poorly furnished, the place is poorly furnished, this can cause distraction and then lack of concentration as well. So that's what I think.
Thank you. I think that's really valid. So, Jem, do you think that we're spending too much, or do you think we're spending enough on education?
No, nearly not enough. I don't think so. I mean, education, it's a very important part of the Nigerian system, of any society basically.
Yeah.
So I feel like no amount is too much. So as much as just ensure that this whatever figure that is quoted is being judicially
utilized.
Spent. Yes.
Yeah.
So it's not too much. We can get to a place where primary, secondary, and tertiary institution is free for all. We can get to that place. We can get to a place where our classrooms have been digitalized. Yes.
Yeah.
We can get to a place where we're using top-notch equipment in the classroom. There's Wi-Fi connections, there's projectors here and there, away with the blackboards and chalk. We have, screens that are conducive for the eyes. We can get to that place, and all of this can be achieved through proper funding and ensuring that these funds are judicially spent, utilized towards
properly.
Achieving this. So
thank you so
not enough
much.
amount is spent.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Jem. That was I'm learning a lot actually. Yeah, I'm learning from
glad.
the teacher herself. So would you say that educational agencies like JAM, for example, are delivering on their mandates?
Yes, I will say that they are delivering on their mandates. But then again, there's room for improvement. There's room. I'm not. No, obviously, nothing is nearly perfect, right? So, in as much as they are trying their best, I want to quickly mention the last case we had with.
Yeah, I was gonna go there when you said they are delivering on their mandates. I would say some people will beg to differ.
Yes. Okay, we've had some critical discussions over the years as to the relevance of JAM, right?
Yeah.
We have JAM conducting exams to assess this children readiness for university.
Yeah.
And then we have this same university conducting another examination, UTME.
What's the point?
So this is like double.
Yeah.
You guys should pick one. Let's know if it's JAM. But most I think of now, most schools are actually scrapping out UTME, like their own personal screening and exam, and just settling for screen. JAM has given you admission. Okay, that's fine. Bring your documents, we just screen you, and then that's all. And that's fine. There's no need for us to have that double exam. Now, JAM itself needs to improve in their deliverance. Let's quickly look at how exams were set for the candidates. The exam was set for 8 a.m. I think, but the candidates were expected to be there at 6 a.m. or thereabout to be able to have time to register, and settle down. And then some students had to leave their house at the wee
hours of the morning.
And then we had an issue of abduction and the like. So that's not so. It doesn't speak well. And I'm very much aware that the professor is doing so much to ensure that all these lapses, these loopholes are, properly addressed. And I think we saw how he broke down, and he was not actually happy with the just recently conducted exams.
Yeah.
And
where people were, I think underscored. Probably. Yeah, I think that was the case, and it hurt.
And then you hear cases of where the systems were malfunctioning.
Yeah.
So
shouldn't be so.
I think another thing is JAMB has given opportunity to private institutions to be able, if you're able to get a good center. I'm an individual. I have a good center where I have a certain number of computers.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm allowed to. After, of course, they come and assess my space and my equipment. I'm allowed to conduct JAM exam, like become a JAM center.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's going to be more appropriate if we have like a unified JAM center.
Yeah.
If we have somewhere, okay, maybe in each zone, right? Or local government, we have like, you know,
a major one,
that is
one.
Yes, that is properly sponsored, furnished, maintained, supervised by JAM officials.
Yes.
That will ensure effective performance. I think.
Yeah.
It's my personal opinion.
Yeah.
I trust Professor Yole that he's doing so much to improve upon their current mandate, and I'm sure we'll see what the next year JAM examination will be like.
Yeah, we're hoping, fingers crossed.
Exactly.
So this one I'm going to ask you now is going to shake tables with Jem. Are you sure you're ready for it?
I'm ready.
Okay. So do you think that the Nigerian graduates or graduates that we have today are ready to, you know, compete favorably in the job market?
I see what you mean when you say that you're shaking tables.
Yeah.
Okay, so to a large extent, based on my personal opinion, I would say no, because the world in general, it's world market, right?
Yeah.
The world in general is transforming into a digitalized world, right?
Yeah.
Most of the courses that we run in Nigeria, what are we doing with them?
What are we doing?
What are we doing with them? I will use myself as an example. When I was going to read literature in English from the prestigious Ahmadu Bello University, I was told that I was going to use it. It was my first option, right? But it wasn't what I wanted. But let's leave that one first.
Aside, yes.
So, but I was told when I did my findings, my research, like, oh, you work as an editor in, you know, reputable newspaper houses.
Oh
and
my
I was
God,
like, okay.
Yours is better. They will tell you that you can work anywhere. That's the
That's
first
the
time.
thing. We need to have courses that actually we are able to channel what we've learned
Yeah.
into. Like, okay, are you talking about AI intelligence? Are we talking about robotic engineering, aeronautic engineering? You know, courses that when you are not doing like this before you start. Because after I came, I did not stay in the editor house or any newspaper house to work in. No, and that's why I went to teaching for some years. And basically, in fact, they will tell you now, most people that read English or literature in English, you cannot do anything other than teach schools. Now, are these people that you're sending to schools properly equipped to teach?
That's the big question.
I like what they're doing now. If you don't have like a grounded training, you did not do education in the university, or maybe postgraduate diploma in education, or go through TRCN to, you know, have yourself properly equipped to become a teacher, you shouldn't be allowed near
Schools.
near any student, please.
Just
because you're a graduate of psychology does not mean that you can go and teach sociology in secondary school. Please, let's stop that.
Yeah.
Let's stop doing that. So yes, as far as I'm concerned, to a large extent, we are not ready until we have a review of the courses that are administered in our Nigerian universities. We need to start looking at courses that are marketable, that are in line with the current trend, the current global trends. That's and only then can I say that yes, our graduates are in line with the current job market.
Jem, I have something to ask. For the graduates watching us right now who is a victim of the Nigerian educational, you know, sector right now. You know, they are victims, or for the person watching who is a victim, what is one thing you would advise this person to do to, you know, make them ready to say, okay, I think I can now compete, you know, world class level? Give us one thing.
Self-study. There are so many educational resources that is free online now. Okay, yes, for some reason you didn't get what you want, or you didn't get the quality. But how are you even judging what is qualitative and what is not? That's another question. Anyway, you didn't get what you want. There are so many educational resources online. Some are free, not most.
Yeah.
Udemy is there, Allison is there, Coursera is there. You can take certain courses that you feel like, okay, I can actually learn this thing and then transform it into a skill. Or you can learn, or you can just have like a what do you call it, like a foundational knowledge, and then now use this to apply to schools, now to have a formal training. So you can you don't give up, you can still improve upon yourself. You did not get admission to study whatever you want, that's fine, that's not an issue, that's not the end of the world. You can research and get these online resources, online educational resources like the ones I've mentioned. Use it to start to get insight into the field that you think
you might be interested in,
or that will provide you the job that you want. Use that as a starting ground, and then from there make one or two content up your LinkedIn account, get in contact with persons who are knowledgeable in the field. If for instance I want to become a professional in theater art and I get a free course from Udemy, is not free I think, but
there are sites
yes,
that are free actually. Just
you get a paid
research.
course on acting, and then I start to think of how I can get in contact with top actors or producers and directors in Nigeria. Just follow them, look at how they are, you know, their social media pages, look at how they organize themselves, start following in line. Before you know,
fake it till you make it. Yeah,
story will change.
Yeah. Thank you, Jem. So the last question I'm going to ask you, I know that you're probably out of breath because of my so many questions.
No, this is like I said, that is a very special topic for me because I'm a teacher.
Yeah. So Jem, how can the citizens, hold the government and our educational system accountable?
Very interesting questions. You need to, how you can do it is simple. First of all, you need to try and become a member of the school management board committee. Now, there's a committee that it's established apparently to help citizens monitor schools, school management board, become or to be a member on the school management board. You get to see how the schools are run, the recruitment processes of teachers, their qualifications, projects. You get to see that. That's the way for you to assess the quality of education or the quality of service that these schools are putting out there. Another thing you can do is there's this 2011 Act, Freedom of Information Act. You can request to see, can I see the budget allocation for this school? Can I see the expenditure on certain school projects? What was it that was carried out? How was it carried out? Now you're performing the role of monitoring. So you monitor, and then should you find some indiscrepancies, you can report. This is how you're holding the schools and the government accountable. And then social media is a very useful tool that you can use, and of course Public Complaints Commission is here for you.
Your number one.
To seek redress for any way you think that your the services or the quality, whatever you think
they're not meeting up to standards.
We're here for you to seek redress and get justice.
Yeah, Jem, I know that I said that was going to be the last question, but from what you said, can anybody be a part of the school management board?
Yes, from my understanding, everybody. You just need to put a request request to the committee, or inquire, is there a committee? Yes, how can I be a part of the committee? And then the rules and regulations or the guidelines to becoming a member will be given to you. Excuse me, be given to you, and from there
you can.
Yes.
All right.
If for some reason you are unable to, for some reason I doubt, but if for some own reason you're unable to, you can get in touch with somebody who is a committee and what are they doing in this school? Get information from the person. Or like I said, you can also use your Freedom of Information Act.
And
exercise it and request for this document yourself and see.
Yeah. So that's beautiful. Thank you so much, Jem. I think this has brought us, to the end of this program. But we cannot go without telling you about the Public Complaints Commission. If you notice, like Jem has rightly said, any discrepancy in how the school is being run, how funds are mismanaged, how we're not getting value for our money education wise, you can take up the case, bring it to the Public Complaints Commission. We would offer amicable resolution. We're available in all of the 36 states of the Federation, including the FCT. And then, just if you can't be present, if you can't come physically, we have websites. Well, online, you can just lodge your complaints, and an investigation officer will be assigned immediately to handle the case. This is Service Hour. My name again is Mati Fati. And this is
Jem.
Thank you. Bye.